With the teacher strike heading into its fourth week, parents and children are really starting to feel everything from boredom to anger and frustration. Robin Landels-Hill is the department head of early learning and childcare at Macamee College. She joins us this morning with some advice on how parents can help children respond to stresses like the ongoing teacher strike right now. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning.
Let's talk about first with what's going on right now with the teacher strike. No denying this is having an impact on our children. What type of impact would you say it's having?
I think really the key is that the children are out of routine, they're out of their habit, they're out of what they're used to, and children sort of thrive on routine. So we want to sort of encourage people to maintain as much consistency as possible and have those conversations with their children, let them know what's coming next, let them know what they're doing today, plan out the day together, those types of things, so that they really can have that stability that they usually get in that routine and structure that school provides.
In the case that they're starting to feel the stress, what are some coping mechanisms parents can use to help their kids?
One of the key things in our early learning and childcare program that we teach our students is something called a visual schedule. And it's really just as simple as providing a picture with some information and putting them in order and letting the children understand after this comes this, after this comes this, those types of things, so that we can provide that kind of consistency and structure for them so they understand what their day is going to look like, rather than just going, I don't know what time it is, I don't know what's happening. And that can be very stressful for children.
Yeah. I can imagine it can be, if you have siblings, it can add to the stress if everybody's disorganized, but it can also be really helpful to have your siblings to lean on too during these times. How can they go about supporting each other?
I think really encouraging those siblings activities. If you have an activity where both older and younger children can participate at the same time. So we want to build those things. Like if you are building fort building, you know, you have the older children who can kind of put the pieces together and the younger children who can give ideas and kind of tell them where to put things. And we foster that teamwork. And that teamwork is just so important for everything that we do.
And then when students come back to school, after weeks of not being in this certain type of routine and structure, how would you recommend kind of getting back into that transition of more structure and routine?
Well, I would start introducing that structure to begin with, and then I would start talking to them about what it will look like on that first day. Remember, we have to get up at this time. We need to do this step next. We have to take the bus. When you get there, you're going to find your locker. When you get there, you're going to meet your teacher in your room, or whatever those pieces are, but really giving them that solid plan, that re-entry plan. That's something that we sort of focus on when we work with children, and that when we train the students as well to work with children, is to make sure that they are always communicating with them as well.
Yeah. I imagine that helps build the excitement to heading back to school. Would you agree?
Well, it's kind of like an advent calendar, right? We can kind of count down when we can plan it. The difficult part with the teacher strike was that it was sudden, and the return will likely be sudden as well. And so we have to make do and put those routines in place where we can, and those information where we can. When we can plan it like a school holiday, a Christmas holiday, that type of thing, we have a countdown. It's a lot easier to make those transitions, but transitions are so important to do well with children, and they do need our help to sort of get through those transitions.
So much great advice here. Thanks so much, Robin, for coming into studio today.
You're welcome.
And if you want more information, you can head on over to macameecollege.com.